We are at episode 300. 300 episodes of Pigskin Frenzy, and we are ready to rock and roll. Guys, throughout this whole process 2 years ago, we were thinking, you know what? We're going to try to create one of the most dynamic and best college football shows, and we still have a long way to go. We're going to keep on going and keep on climbing. But man, let me go ahead and tell you, making it to 300. And if you guys are still with me at episode 300, I am so grateful for you guys, and I'm so thankful for you guys tuning in each and every Tuesday and Thursday. If y'all been day one listeners, thank you very much for tuning in and sticking it out with me and riding it out with me. Episode 300 is here. Here's a 300 more. We're going to conclude our list of Frenzy's top 50 games of the 2025 college football season with 10 through 1. What is the number one game on our list for the 2025 college football season? You're going to find that out here in a matter of moments. And we got some surprises up our sleeve for this list as well. We're ready. We're pumped. We're fired up. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pigskin Frenzy on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Joel Norris, and whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, listening on Podbean and Apple, a big thank you for taking some time out of your Tuesday to just sit back, watch, and listen to some college football coverage presented by me. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like each episode, leave comments down below. Spotify, Podbean, and Apple, all you got to do is just share around with others and follow on there as well. X and Instagram is at pigskin_frenzy. Follow, like the pages there. You're going to get episode updates. You're going to get news and highlights from across college football and clips from the prodigy of college football on X, Instagram, and TikTok at pigskin_frenzy. Follow on all socials. The website is www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. We are super fired up, man. 300 episodes. We cannot do this show without you guys. We're so thankful. About to be at 6,700 listeners across all audio platforms. And not only that, we are at 89,000 channel views. 89,000, about to be at 90,000 channel views on YouTube. Guys, going from episode 1 to now at 300, we have built something here, and we're going to continue to climb up and build and keep on going. We cannot do this without you guys. It's a we show. So we're so thankful for you guys tuning in each and every Tuesday and Thursday. Just to listen to me talk about college football and listen to others join our show to talk about college football and the sport that we all love. And not only that, we're so thankful for our Lord and Savior Jesus, because without him, we would not be in college football media. We would not be in this space, and not only that, talking about college football, but most importantly, spreading his good name across all platforms. Without him, we would not be here doing this. So, guys, if you want to come to know Jesus, it's the best decision you can ever make in your life. Guys, contact me on X, Instagram, and TikTok at pigskin_frenzy. Just message me on there. You can also talk to me on the website, www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. Down the home and about me page, there's a contact info down below, name, email, and question, and I'll get back to you there off the air as well. Guys, it's the best decision you can ever make in your life. Come to know Jesus. He is Lord and he is King of all, and we are so grateful to be just have the platform to do what we do best, and that's glorify Jesus and just spread his name across all platforms and to talk college football. Man, this list is now about to be winding down. 300th episode, a big episode on tap today. And not only that, just winding down and figuring out what the number one game for our list is. Top 50 games. We have our honorable mentions. We probably won't put the honorable mentions on the list, like on the list post that we're going to post on X, Instagram, and TikTok. So go and follow on there. X, Instagram, and TikTok at pigskin_frenzy. We will post this list after this episode drops. So you're going to find out what 10 through 1 is. If you're dancing to the audio that I put on the post on TikTok, great, because it's a catchy tune when you're looking at the list and going down 10 through 1. So surprises on 10 through 1. On 10 and 6, a lot of surprises, actually. You're going to be quite shocked at what we got planned and what we got in store for this, because you're going to think you've never done this before. Out of not only this 300 episodes that we've done, you've never done this before when we do a list like this. Well, here we are, and we're now doing it. So we're pumped, we're fired up, and we're ready to rock and roll, man. Cannot wait to unveil this, and I'm ready to rock and roll. Time flies when you're having fun doing this list. So 10 through 1. It's going to be on X, it's going to be on Instagram, and going to be on TikTok at Pigskin_Frenzy. So, okay, let's kick it off with the honorable mentions first. Honorable mentions first. So the honorable mentions that did not make the list, but we were just going to honor these games. Ole Miss at Oklahoma. Very interesting game down in week 9. It was one of those where really Ole Miss really couldn't afford to lose another one. I mean, as they were kind of clunched in or crunching into the playoffs. Oklahoma, they didn't need to lose this one, but they did, because after Oklahoma loses that one, it's kind of a do or die mentality at that point as well. So you got that going, you have that, but it was a back and forth game. Ole Miss looked like they had the lead in that game. Oklahoma took the lead early in the fourth, and then Ole Miss took it back, and Ole Miss never let up. Ole Miss defeated Oklahoma in week 9. Another game is Iowa at USC. Iowa at USC in late October. Very fun game. It was another one of those games where you look and you're like, oh, okay. Iowa, by the way, Iowa is a team that was very underrated. A lot of people did not give them enough credit for the season that they had, and they played USC very close, down to the wire. USC took the lead back in the second half. That was a pigskin game, by the way, Iowa and USC. And USC, at the very end, didn't let up, and Iowa tried to play comeback, and they ran out of time. USC defeated Iowa, and after that second half comeback, that is an honorable mention game as well, because it was a phenomenal football game in the Coliseum. Next up is Texas at Texas A&M. Huge win for Texas. Even though on the field it looked like a blowout at first, it was going back and forth, but huge win for Texas, because that put them not really in the playoff position, but it kind of knocked Texas A&M out of the SEC championship race. Obviously, it was a big showing in Austin, and it was a huge, Black Friday, Thanksgiving weekend with Texas and Texas A&M on Friday night, and knocked them out of the SEC title game hunt and race. But I'm going to tell you what, man, very interesting game at first, exciting, huge upset. A lot of people were kind of big, betting on Texas, but a lot of people like me who were betting on Texas A&M to try to get it done. A&M did not get it done, and Texas won in a huge upset. That's an honorable mention game. Georgia and Florida was very close as well in Week 10, November 1st. Got to give Georgia versus Florida a lot of love. Florida brought it in that game. There was an interim bump, by the way. Interim bump happened, and they brought the fight to Georgia. In the end, Georgia stormed back and won, got the win, but Florida came very close and knocking them off and giving some of us some stuff to talk about, right, on Pigskin Frenzy and other college football shows. So Georgia versus Florida is an honorable mention game. Big Ten Championship was an honorable mention. I did not put that on the list, but you could make an argument that it could have gone on the list. It was a very good game. It was Ohio State's first loss of the season. Indiana was undefeated as well. It really showed that, okay, Indiana's probably going to make a run of the national championship and probably win the national championship the way they are playing. Daggers by Fernando Mendoza and Charlie Becker to give them the win and ice this game. Ohio State getting their first loss in the Big Ten title game, and Kirk Cignetti in his second season winning a Big Ten championship. That's an honorable mention game. In the ACC championship game that went in overtime between Virginia and Duke, Duke was having a field day in the first half with time of possession, but Virginia stormed right back to make this a game. They brought it into overtime, and all of a sudden Duke scores in overtime, drags it all out, and then Chandler Morris, first play, throws a pick. Duke wins their first ACC championship in program history. So, honorable mention game there was the ACC championship game on conference championship weekend, or as we call it around here, Conference Frenzy. Another one, and one more. I just thought about it. One more as we are about to wrap up here. And I just forgot about it. It was, and I can't believe I didn't really put it on this list because it should have been on this list, was Texas A&M and South Carolina. I thought that was a very wild comeback. It was, I believe, week 12, I believe. Week 12. Week 12. And it was a very interesting game. Let me put it that way. Very interesting game. Uh, a Week 12 matchup between uh, Texas A&M and South Carolina. It was at Texas A&M. South Carolina beat them last year, and then just going up this past season, they were thinking, okay, A&M's going to wear them out. It was the opposite. South Carolina was all over A&M. The downfall was happening, and then all of a sudden, the memo, like I said last Thursday, the memo happened. Literally, the memo happened. And when I mean by memo, I meant memo. And memo, I mean South Carolina not finishing the game. Texas A&M comes all the way back and beats them by a point and wins the ball game. And you're thinking, oh no, what a comeback. Probably one of the largest comebacks in SEC history from Texas A&M and in school history from Texas A&M. They win the game to remain undefeated, and South Carolina is just left heartbroken in College Station. Huge, monstrous comeback from Texas A&M to defeat South Carolina. That was an honorable mention on our list as well. So honorable mentions from Pigskin Frenzy here for the Frenzy's top 50 games of the 2025 college football season. Let's kick it off with number 10. Number 10 on our list, and it's a tie. You're thinking, what? How can you have a tie on the list, man? It's a tie, and it's a tie between two schools, and two games, and you're gonna like it, I think. Number 10, and we're gonna go by 10A, 10B. So tied for 10th place and tied for 10. 10A is Arizona State at Mississippi State in Week 2. I said that we were going to have another Mississippi State game, and we weren't done. We're going to reach its conclusion on Mississippi State, obviously, because this is the last list, but said we weren't done with Mississippi State. And we're not, and we are not done. Man, let me go on and tell you something about this game. This game was Week 2. In Stark Vegas, Starkville, Mississippi. A lot of people were going there. A lot of people were pumped, fired up to be there. And it was going to be a raucous crowd. The defending Big 12 champions coming into town. Huge game in Week 2 for Mississippi State. It's going to show us a lot early on of what Mississippi State can be made of. And a little bit of what Arizona State's going to be made of in 2025. You get Sam Levitt there. You get everybody back. And at this time, they're healthy at this point, right? This is only Week 2. They go into Starkville, and all of a sudden, you look at the scoreboard, and State they burst out into a 17-0 lead against the Sun Devils early. 17-0 lead. State is all over Arizona State. Mississippi State is. And all of a sudden, second half rolls around, and Arizona State's climbing back, and you're wondering, whoa, this is going to be an exciting finish here in Starkville. And then all of a sudden they storm back, and then you're thinking, oh no, State is doing it again. They're going to let the hearts are going to break in Bulldog Country in Davis Wade Stadium. Jesus Gomez kicks about I believe a 17-yard field goal on the go-ahead drive, put the Sun Devils up ahead. It was, if you look, it was, I believe, 17. It was 17-20. 3 points, and it was 17-20, 3 points. Arizona State got the lead, 2017, and it was Arizona State with the lead after that field goal. 1:38 left. Blake Shapen. Got to find your fastest wide receiver out there somewhere with Brendan Thompson. Brendan Thompson runs the route, catches the ball, and is outrunning everyone. A huge vertical play for a touchdown and puts Mississippi State up and has the lead at home. It's 24-20. Arizona State gets one last gasp. They could not make it work, and Mississippi State gets the upset win at home over Arizona State. A phenomenal football game. The crowd stormed the field. It was rocking, and State got a huge win to start off their 2025 season. Now, did the record for 2025 pan out the way that they were hoping for after this win? Probably not, but this was one of their best wins of the season, and it finally is a heartfelt good win to start off the 2025 campaign, really. And beating a conference champion, a defending conference champion, which is pretty huge for Mississippi State after a lot of what they've been through. So 24-20, how can you not make this game a top 10 game? The atmosphere, Davis Wade, cowbells were ringing. It was an exciting finish. and they got the win. And it was a huge win for Mississippi State. 24-20 was the final score. Mississippi State defeated Arizona State. It's number 10 on our list. 10B on our list as well. Number 10 as well on our list. It's a tie for 10th place. I mean, it's Georgia and Tennessee. And it's got to be Georgia and Tennessee in week 3. Georgia at Tennessee in week 3. A phenomenal football game in week 3 in the SEC. A lot of people were, okay, could this be the time where Tennessee could knock off Georgia? It was a high-scoring affair. Yes, did Joey Aguilar throw a lot of picks and turnovers? Yes, but he kept fighting and kept swinging back in that game. Huge game for both teams. It was a stunning thing in Knoxville. They haven't beaten Georgia since 2016. It has been, it was 9 years now, going on 10 years since they've beaten Georgia. And despite taking a 21-7 first quarter lead, right? It was Tennessee up 21-7 in the first quarter. Despite even Georgia. Georgia had a 4th and 6 for the 28 with 2:32 left. And Tennessee just had, in moments like this, had leads in moments to where they had Georgia beat. They had Georgia on the ropes, but Georgia, with that dog mentality, just kept fighting. That hard to kill, hard to stop mentality. Georgia, early on, finds a way to get it done in overtime. They go in overtime. They managed to let it slip away in overtime. The Vols did. Didn't convert in overtime. Georgia gets the ball. They run it in for a touchdown. Ball game. 44-41 was the final score. Georgia defeats Tennessee in overtime, 44-41, and breaks the hearts of many in Neyland Stadium. Phenomenal football game. It was back and forth. We were on the edge of our seats. It was a pigskin game, I believe, in this one. It was a really close, this is going to get your heart racing type of game. And like I said about Kansas State and Baylor, this was one of those games where if your heart's not racing, are you truly a college football fan? Honestly, it was one of those games. And it's honestly, to me, a top 10 game of the college football season. Georgia at Tennessee, number 10 on our list. So that's number 10 on our list. Tie 1A or 10A, 10B, Mississippi State at Arizona State in week 2, and Georgia at Tennessee in week 3. Those are number 10 tied on our list. Number 9 on our list. Very interesting game at number 9. And it was Kansas State and Utah in week 13. High scoring affair in the Big 12. Let me go on and tell you something. This game came down to the very end. Nobody would stop scoring. It's like, what is happening down in Utah, down in Salt Lake City? What is happening between these two schools? Huge game. Huge game between both of them. It was 4 in terms of, honestly, in terms of, not CFP, like there wasn't really any massive stakes in this, but in terms of just bragging rights, it was just an incredible spectacle, right? It really was. You don't need high stakes sometimes for football games to make it a magical game. College football itself is just magical, and I know that a lot of the games that we have on our list have a lot of stakes on them, but this one did not have a lot of stakes at all because their seasons were pretty much wrapped up around this time anyway. But let me go on and tell you something. It was a series of big runs for both teams. Examples: 10-0 for Kansas State, 14-0 for Utah, then 16-0 for Kansas State. Was set a touchdown by Joe Jackson from Kansas State, gave the Wildcats a 47-35 lead, and then all of a sudden we had we had a worst case scenario. It was a 14, Kansas State went for 2 points, 14-point lead. All of a sudden, Teo Johnson from Utah deflected a pass for 100 yards down the field, and a touchdown happened, and it was 47-44, 3 and out. And then all of a sudden, here comes Utah again on offense, and they come right back and give the Utes the lead. And then all of a sudden, Kansas State gets the ball back. They're trying to march down the field, and then turnover, picked off late, and Utah gets the win. The final score of this game was 51-47. Utah defeated Kansas State 51-47. High stakes, a big series of runs by each team in this game. Flashiness, it was, like I said, no stakes in this one, but at the same time, when you look at it, you're like, oh, okay. Awesome. Like, high scoring affair, very fun to watch between both football teams. A lot of offense, a lot of points were scored. I mean, if you want to talk about a combined, literally, it was a combined, I believe, 98 points between the two teams on the total of the scoreboard, 98 points between the two. It was unbelievable watching this football game in Salt Lake City. It's number 9 on our list because of how high octane it was. We were on the edge of our seats. Was Kansas State going to go down? Were they going to go down the field and score, and as time expires, and walk off with a lead and win? Or was Utah going to finally make a stand and stop? And Utah finally made a stand and stopped with that turnover. So number 9 on our list was Kansas State at Utah. 51-47 was the final score, where Utah defeated Kansas State in Big 12 conference play. That is number 9 on our list. Number 8 on our list is a very fun game. And we have a lot of fun games on this one. Number 8 was literally a on the edge of our seat, heart stopper almost in week 8. Or excuse me, in week 11, number 8 on our list. Indiana at Penn State in week 11. Indiana was in another dogfight, it seemed like. We all thought that Penn State was going to probably get blown out by Indiana in Happy Valley, but Terry Smith, interim coach at the time, he's now the assistant head coach under Matt Campbell's staff, but he had other plans for this game. And Kirk Cignetti and Terry Smith went to war in Big Ten country in Happy Valley in this game in State College, Pennsylvania. Huge game. The offenses were, honestly, if you want to look at it, were clicking. I mean, they were clicking both. They were close, both clicking, right? Penn State, they played really strong ball under Terry Smith during that interim run. Ethan Grunkemeyer had a good game as well, played his heart out in this game. They had a 17-0 run. Nicholas Singleton had a couple of scores. They gave Penn State the lead, 24-20. But also, when it's Fernando Mendoza coming in, and it was when the eventual Heisman Trophy winner, when they're on a mission, they're ready to go play some football and try to compete for a Big Ten and national title. What can you do, right? In that drive, he completed passes to E.J. Williams, Riley Nowakowski, Charlie Becker, and then Omar Cooper at first. But then it made what this was catch of the year, honestly. This is the number 1 catch of the year in college football. Had an amazing highlight play to Omar Cooper with seconds left for a touchdown. Huge game for Indiana. A huge touchdown, literally foot and toe on inbounds by the hair of its chinny chin chin. An unbelievable catch by Omar Cooper. Gus Johnson was going absolutely ballistic on the call on Fox, and it was 27-24. Penn State, they tried a Hail Mary, got deflected, ran out of time, and Indiana walks away with a win in State College, Pennsylvania on the road. A huge game at number 8. It got its inner fields. Penn State came this close to upsetting Indiana, but Indiana would not allow it. They continued on with their undefeated season, and let me go on and tell you something. That catch was so remarkable by Omar Cooper. It made us, honestly, it just reflects us, and we reflect on why we enjoy college football so much, because of plays like that. And because of endings in games like that is why we enjoy the sport. So that's why it's number 8 on our list, because of how close the game was. The crowd was into it. Could have been a legitimate upset, especially with Terry Smith as the interim head coach. But that Omar Cooper catch, just really catch of the year in the whole sport, made it memorable for all of us. So number 8 is Indiana at Penn State in week 11, where Indiana defeated Penn State 27-24. In the second half of the season, Penn State did play good, but if you want to look at number 7 on our list, and this was before the Terry Smith interim happened, this is literally a week after a shocking overtime loss to Oregon. Number 7 is Penn State at UCLA in week 6. Why is Penn State at UCLA in week 6, number 7 on your list? Well, I will tell you why it's number 7 on our list, because of how shocking the game was. The odds of UCLA were winning that game, honestly, of UCLA winning that football game was, I mean, honestly, pretty low, if you want to just think about it that way. Penn State coming in, they were number 7 after losing to Oregon. James Franklin was going to get them back on track in a Rose Bowl game. It's UCLA. That's what we were all saying. Pretty sure Penn State was saying that as well. The loss to Oregon wasn't a total surprise, but this game was. This was probably one of the most shocking results of the season, honestly. And this is what we talked about on Pigskin Frenzy with our Week 6 recap as well. UCLA was a 24.5-point underdog at home in this ball game. Penn State comes in and honestly, they just fired its head coach, both coordinators. We had Jerry Neuheisel as the interim offensive coordinator, Tim Skipper as the interim OC, or as the interim head coach. They put up pretty much a phenomenal game plan after getting rid of their head coach a few weeks back. They have to do something to make an impression count in this ball game. And what do? The Bruins take a 27-7 lead at halftime. It is a blowout. UCLA putting up, with Nico Amaliaava, putting up all sorts of numbers against Penn State's defense. And you're wondering, what's going on with Penn State? Why are they crashing out? Because there's 2 factors to this. Yes, they're crashing out. Yes, also, it's looking like UCLA is trying to make a late run at the swing of things. Penn State, they charged back and they came back in this one. It was, they cut the deficit 27-21 in the third, 34-28 in the fourth. Was UCLA would not stop scoring. Nika Amaliaava scored to make it 42-28. Penn State, they came, the comeback, they kept going. Kyron Hudson, USC transfer, now Penn State wide receiver at the time, 42-35. They cut the lead down, and it's a touchdown left. And they drove down to the UCLA 9 with a minute left, and Drew Aller got stuffed on 4th down, and Penn State could not stop anything, and UCLA stopped Penn State late, 42-35. It was, 42-37 late. They could not stop it. UCLA won the game pretty much, 42-37 in this one. It was a huge game, man. 24.5-point favorites, UCLA 42. Offensive showcase with Nika Amaliaava. Penn State scores late to make it, put it up, make it 37 points. 42-37 was the final score in this game. Nobody can stop it, really. I mean, no one really can stop UCLA in this game. Penn State tried their best, but they just could not stop it. That was a huge problem in this. Back-to-back losses for James Franklin, and it was only it was not really the beginning of the end, because that was Oregon, but it was getting closer to the end after this one, because the week after it was Northwestern. They lost that one, and James Franklin was let go. But, I mean, this game was a absolute shocking result at number 7. Huge game, huge underdog between Penn State and UCLA, and UCLA was a huge underdog in this game, and they got the win and figured out a way to win. Because earlier in the year, they were getting blown out by New Mexico. Then they go at home and beat the number 17. College football is wild. I mean, it is a wild sport because of upsets like this. I mean, 24.5-point favorites. No one expected UCLA to even be in a game with them. But the reason why it's number 7 and why it's a top 10 game is because of the result of how shocking it was. But Penn State decided in the second half, we're going to come back and make it a game and make it to where we're on the edge of our seats. Was UCLA going to complete the upset, or was Penn State going to storm back and get a win here? And UCLA ended up completing the upset. Number 7 was UCLA versus Penn State. Penn State at UCLA in week 6. Final score was 42-37. UCLA defeated Penn State at home in probably the most shocking result of the year. Number 6 is another tie. I mean, really, another tie. You're thinking, Joel, why do you keep doing this on this list? You've never done this. 2 ties in the 2025 season list. But I know there's a lot of good football games on, and we couldn't really decide, so we got to make them tied. Number 6 6A and then number 6B. Number 6A to start us off on our list is Texas A&M at Notre Dame in week 3. It really, and we're going to get to the other one because you're thinking, is the other one on there? It is on there, but we're going to talk about it. Week 3, Notre Dame entering 0-1, A&M entering 2-0, and they were, or I believe 1-0. I believe they were both 1-0, 1-0, and 0-1, but rather it was week 3, early game in South Bend, and in that game it was pretty crucial for Notre Dame to win this ball game. Like, it was a game where they needed to probably win this to kind of keep their hopes in the playoff alive. Could be. I know you can get in with 2 losses, but it was going to kind of make things a little bit difficult and it was crucial for their playoff hopes. And it turns out we were right. This game right here, including the week 1 game as well, was crucial to Notre Dame's playoff hopes. Botched PAT snap, and it could have made the difference in this game, but Texas A&M had the lead 28-24 after a wild first half. They were going back and forth. Notre Dame and A&M were just trading scores, and it was a fun game to watch for both teams. But in the trenches, running the ball and throwing the ball, they were both just going back and forth. It was a Pigskin Frenzy game, and it was a fun Pigskin Frenzy game at that. It was a focus that we had. 12-play, 6-minute drive, capped off with Jeremiah Love to tie this game up. It was tied 34-34. Jeremiah Love capped off a 12-play, 6-minute drive with 12-yard touchdown. Got the lead. It was 40-34, really. And then at the very end, Marcel Reed and a defensive hold, Marcel Reed from a third down scramble, defensive holding penalty for Notre Dame. It kind of gave A&M a first and goal, didn't it? At the very end, time was really on A&M's side when it was first and goal, just not on Notre Dame's side. Huge game. I know the Notre Dame's defense ended up making it a 4th and goal very quickly. Notre Dame's defense on goal line was really sound, really good. And then all of a sudden, 19 seconds left, Nate Bowenkircher, the tight end for Texas A&M, was found in the end zone. Marcel Reed throws a pass to him, touchdown, game winner, and Randy Bond gets the extra point. It was 41-40. And as time expired, because Notre Dame didn't have enough time, game over. Texas A&M 41-40 in a thriller in South Bend. 1-point win, back and forth game. Marcel Reed played really well. The offensive A&M played really well. Notre Dame played really well in this game, but they could not make that one stand at the very end, and that probably dealt the blow to their playoff chances. Even though it was week 3, it dealt the blow, and what made the difference in their playoff chance back in December. So 41-40, number 6A is Texas A&M at Notre Dame in week 3, where Texas A&M defeated Notre Dame 41-40. The reason why it's number 6 and why it's really a tie is because this game was, like I said, it was a crucial game of the college football season. It literally kind of probably dealt the blow and sealed the fate of, along with the other game that we're going to mention here in a little bit, sealed the fate for Notre Dame's college ball playoff chances. And A&M, that really kind of helped them out in their resume for the college ball playoff as well, beating a Notre Dame. So 6A is where it's ranked. Number 6A, Texas A&M at Notre Dame in week 3, where A&M defeated Notre Dame 41-40 in a thrilling game. 6B on our list is Oregon at Penn State. We had to say it, right? Oregon at Penn State, 6B. Phenomenal football game in week 5, back and forth game. It was a little bit of a defensive battle at first. Oregon kind of climbed back early on. Penn State had a late drive late in the 4th. All of a sudden, what happened is it brought into overtime to really make it 24-24, tied up late in overtime. They go back, and you're thinking, okay, going into overtime, we thought Oregon had it. Penn State storms back late and has a late drive, whiteout game. Big Ten championship rematch between the two teams. The crowd is rocking on NBC. It is a phenomenal atmosphere. And all of a sudden, Oregon scores, makes it 30-24. They were going back and forth. It was a low scoring game. They were going back and forth, and which makes it, they both score in the first overtime to make it a double overtime. Oregon scores, and then Penn State gets the ball back. Drew Allard, PTSD kind of and traumatic thing, just a traumatic, flashback, right? From Penn State fans to Drew Allard, what happened here? Interception to Oregon, and Oregon seals the game in double overtime, 30-24. Oregon defeats Penn State 30-24 in double overtime. And it was the beginning of the end for James Franklin's tenure at Penn State. It kind of was the downhill trajectory for Penn State of what their season would be. Shocking downhill trajectory because we thought they were going to be a playoff team, potentially a national championship team with the amount of talent they had this year. Oregon kept on fighting, and Dan Lanning went into a hostile environment, had him ready to play in double overtime. He was in near tears during the post-game interview, and he said this was special to him, and it was special because this is what college football is all about. Huge win for Oregon. It catapulted Oregon to a top 3 spot within the next week, and Penn State's trajectory just went down after this. Phenomenal football game of the time. Had big implications, and it really did kind of have big implications still to this day, because if it wasn't for that win, Oregon, we probably wouldn't be seeing James Franklin at Virginia Tech right now. So huge implications in this game and how impactful it was for the sport. 6B, Oregon at Penn State. It is Oregon defeating Penn State 30-24 in double overtime. That is number 6 on our list. Number 5, we're in our top 5, man. Our top 5 as we're about to wrap up here on Pigskin Frenzy. Number 5 on our list. Very interesting football game. Number 5 is the college ball playoff semifinal Fiesta Bowl. Miami versus Ole Miss. I said Miami was going to win this ball game. I know Ole Miss is a good football team offensively, but Miami's just a little bit aggressive in this game, and a little bit too aggressive, and has been aggressive in making a huge run during the college football playoff. It was Ole Miss really bringing the fight in this game. Offensively, they scored late. Trinidad Chambliss making things happen, and you're thinking, okay, this team, Ole Miss, is without their head coach, with all the drama that happened before this, this playoff run happened, it's all going to come to fruition. They're going to make a national championship for the first time since the 1960s. They're going to do it. And then you see the drive that Miami had. Carson Beck leads them down, almost throws a couple of picks in that drive, but continues to go down the field. First down, making more first downs. They get all the way down to a 1st and goal. Carson Beck jogs into the end zone late, and Miami takes the lead, and it's 31-27 at that time. Ole Miss is like, okay, this is a heartbreaker for Ole Miss because they went all the way down, kind of killed some clock, and Carson Beck jogs into the end zone to give them the lead and give them one step closer to going back home and a home game to play for a national championship and be the first team to play a home national championship game. Ole Miss, Trinidad Chambliss was not going down easily on that offense, goes down the field, and you're thinking, okay, they're doing it. They could make something work. They go all the way down the field. Trinidad Chambliss getting close to the red zone. It's about maybe 40-yard line on Miami territory. Trinidad Chambliss goes and throws the ball to the end zone as clock expires. It is not called. Miami defends it. Was it a pass interference? A lot of people there, there was no flags. Was it pass interference? Still debatable to this day. But Miami walks away from Phoenix, Arizona with a win, 31-27 in the Fiesta Bowl, and Miami goes to the national championship after that game. It was a semifinal game that we really needed to see because it was a game where you're thinking, okay, you're on the edge of your seat. Who's going to the national championship? This is the type of game where it comes down to the very end that you want to see in terms of who's going to the national championship, right? You want to see a game like this. You want to make college ball exciting and for us to go back and forth to see before the clock runs out, who's really going to go to the national championship and which team has earned their right. And this is one of those games where you look and you're like, okay, very close game between back and forth late in the game. Ole Miss was really bringing it to Miami in that game and really testing Miami. But in a lot of areas, Miami was kind of, was struggling with penalties, but they still found that fight within them to win this game. Classic game. Classic game this season. It's number 5 on our list because of how fun it was and what was at stake in this game. So number 5 was the college ball playoff semifinal Fiesta Bowl between Miami versus Ole Miss, where Miami defeated Ole Miss 31-27 to go to the national championship game. Number 4 on our list is Notre Dame at Miami in week 1. You had to think that it was coming. Notre Dame at Miami in week 1. You're thinking, Joel, that should be like top 2 because of how impactful this game was. Yeah, it was very impactful. I picked Notre Dame to win. It was a home game for Miami. It was a Sunday night game. And I was thinking, okay, I think Notre Dame's going to win this game. There we go, make a run at it. And then all of a sudden, Carson Beck and that offense was fighting. Malachi Toney was being introduced as the freshman phenom in this game and making a lot of good plays. Miami, in terms of offensively, they were playing really good in this game. And when you look at it, it was fun. It was like Notre Dame it was a 21-7 lead early for Miami because Miami was all over Notre Dame. And then the Irish came back in the third quarter and, it was like Notre Dame came back late in the game. It was 21-7. Miami had a really good, phenomenal catch in this ball game to start off the season. Irish came back, threw a touchdown pass to Jordan Fison. CJ Carr did to tie the score. It had 3 minutes left. It was 24, 24-24 really, and it was just a tie game. And then it was like 20, I believe 24-21 right there. And then all of a sudden, Notre Dame's defense was just, one more shot is what Notre Dame needed. One more shot to set up for a win. Pass interference happened for Notre Dame's defense. And then 47-yard winner for Carter Davis. It was 24-24, then 27-24. And then Notre Dame ended up in heartbreak in this game. Miami wins 27-24 in this game. The reason why this game is number 4 on our list is of how impactful this game was. Impactful as in back and forth game. It was back and forth game, and it's really what set up. Not only did it set up what the season could look like for Notre Dame, because Notre Dame had a phenomenal season after losing to A&M and Miami. It wondered, okay, now that Miami was dead out of the water after those 2 losses, they're probably out of the playoff. Notre Dame could sneak in and still make the playoff. And then when Miami started winning, and it became a 2-loss Miami versus a 2-loss Notre Dame for the playoff spot, it was head-to-head at that point. And there's nothing you can do because Miami already beat Notre Dame. What was so crazy to think about this game was you really wouldn't think that this game right here in week 1, the very first week, the very first weekend, you think that, okay, it's just an exciting week 1 game, right? These games still matter. To kick off the season, these games still matter. And it showed, and it played a pivotal part in the playoff hunt. At the very end, we all tie it back into week 1. Who won that week 1 game? And it was Miami. It made the most impact, and it brought Miami back to their home stadium where they beat Notre Dame to begin with to go to the national championship at home. So it all comes full circle for the Miami Hurricanes in this one. It was so impactful. Huge stakes. 27-24. Miami defeated Notre Dame. It's number 4 on our list. Number 3 on our list is the college ball playoff quarterfinal Sugar Bowl between Georgia and Ole Miss. Ole Miss versus Georgia in the College Football Playoff quarterfinal Sugar Bowl is number 3 on our list. The rematch. And I picked Georgia to win this game because I thought, okay, rematch, it's going to be this kind of the same result that we saw. Who's going to get a stop? I think Georgia's going to get a stop, and Ole Miss is not going to get a stop. But here's the difference. Ole Miss got a couple of stops in this game. They played very physical. And Georgia just got caught flat-footed. They let their foot off the gas a little bit, kind of just pumped the brakes on a lot of areas. Ole Miss did not. Ole Miss was not letting this opportunity go to waste in this rematch. And Ole Miss played very physical, very tough, played with a lot of heart. Trinidad Chambliss made throws and played out of his mind in this game. And it set them up down the field with a field goal late in this one. Honestly, it literally Lucas Carnerio literally went down the field after Trinidad Chambliss lobbed a 40-yard pass to Dejon Stribling. It set put him over the top of the Dogs' defense, and it set them up for a 47-yard field goal. Before that, Georgia had the lead, and it was an 18-yard score for Zachariah Branch, and in the final minute, and it helped, it was huge, right? It was huge, but, they didn't score a touchdown. They just had a game-tying field goal. It was, I believe it was like 34-34. It was a game-tying field goal in this. But when you look at it, game-tying field goal, you think, okay, they're going overtime. But Trinidad Chambliss in that offense, they weren't having it. They were not having it. What happened? They end up scoring. Down the field. 47-yard field goal. Lucas Canario has been money all year for Ole Miss. Kicks the game, pretty much the game-winning field goal, and it ends up making it a 37-34 lead. Ole Miss is on top of Georgia. And then 39-34 came in because they ran out the clock with a safety, and it ended up being 39-34. Ole Miss defeats Georgia to go to the College Ball Playoff semifinal Fiesta Bowl in this one. Another heartbreak for Georgia, another Sugar Bowl heartbreak, and College Ball Playoff elimination in the Sugar Bowl heartbreak for Georgia in this one. Back and forth game. Ole Miss got its revenge, and Trinidad Chambliss showed why he is one of the most impactful players coming back into the 2026 season in college football. He showed right there in this that he is a true, solid, good quarterback for this team, and that he can be a dynamic game changer this season for the Ole Miss Rebels. Played a really good game in this one. Just made some remarkable, heartfelt plays and passion-filled plays in this game. And it was a game that we were on the edge of our seats of on New Year's. So 39-34, Ole Miss defeats Georgia to win the Sugar Bowl and move on to the Fiesta Bowl. It is number 3 on our list because of how fun it was to watch and how exciting and what was at stake in this game. So number 3, College Football Playoff quarterfinal Sugar Bowl, Ole Miss versus Georgia, where Ole Miss defeated Georgia 39-34. Number 2 and number 1 as we wrap up our Frenzy's Top 50 2025 college football season list. Keep on plugging in, keep on subscribing, and keep on rocking with Pigskin Frenzy on all platforms. Man, number 2 is a surprise to many, and a lot of people are going to be surprised by it, but let me explain why it is number 2 on our list. And I'm gonna tell y'all why. Just give me a little bit, all right, to explain this. Number 2, it's Florida State at Virginia. And I'm going to tell you why it's number 2 on our list. While Florida State was technically improved, they were ranked number 8 in this game. They were playing a Friday night game in Week 5. You're thinking, out of all the Week 5 games we had, this was number 2, and it's the highest rated Week 5 game you had, because of what happened and what was coming. And back in July, I said for Virginia, what they needed was a really, probably a 6-win to 7-win season for Tony Elliott to save his tenure there and save his job there at Virginia. I said that. They needed this season. They needed a wins like this. And during this game, you're thinking, okay, Virginia's having a good first part of the season. Florida State better watch out. They could be on upset alert on this Friday night because Friday games in the ACC are just bonkers. They're just absolutely crazy. Sure enough, this game was crazy. Chandler Morris, the offense, was pretty much executing on all cylinders. Honestly, Florida State was just kind of had a lot of early turnovers in this game, and they were just kind of giving this game to Virginia, it seemed like. The Noles got ahead 21-14, but the Cavaliers, Virginia scored touchdowns on their next 3 possessions. Chandler Morris played phenomenal in this football game. It was going back and forth. Go ahead touchdown run for Chandler Morris and a 2-point pass. And honestly, in the game, it went into overtime. It went into double overtime in this one. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, right? You're thinking, all right, what's going to happen? It's going back and forth, high scoring game. What could happen in this? Virginia just scoring at will. Next 3 possessions, Florida State comes back. They score. They make it an interesting game. It goes into overtime. Florida State scores. Virginia scores again. Goes into double overtime. Virginia scores again, by the way, with a go-ahead touchdown run by Chandler Morris. Heartfelt touchdown run. It was 46-38. Florida State really couldn't get it going in double overtime. They got stopped in double overtime. The field was stormed. Double overtime final, Virginia 46, Florida State 38. They knocked off Florida State in double overtime. At home, it created a downhill trajectory for Florida State, but not only that, it created the season of pretty much of a lifetime, or almost of a lifetime for Virginia. It was one of the best seasons Virginia has had in a long time, and it really kickstarted with this win. It changed really the whole trajectory of the ACC. They made the ACC championship because of a win like this. That's why it's number 2, because of the upset, what happened after the game happened. It was a huge game. Like a huge game. You can't even believe how big the game was in week 5. Back and forth, exciting. Everybody was on their feet. The crowd stormed the field. In that moment, you're thinking, this is what it's like to be, a Virginia Cavalier. It's what it's like to be a college football fan, just watching a monumental upset like this. And it changed the trajectory of Tony Elliott's tenure there, and it changed the trajectory of Virginia's tenure there, because now they're building off of this win. NIL-wise, structure-wise, they're building off of this win. So, huge win for Virginia. It's number 2 on our list because of what it did for the Virginia program. I said that Virginia really needed to get wins like this, and they got it, and it changed the trajectory of their season. Made me eat my words about Virginia. 46-38 final score. Virginia beats Florida State in double overtime. It is the number 2 game on our list of Frenzy's top 50 games of the 2025 college football season. All right, the number 1 game of our season before we wrap up. The number 1 game, our number 1 game. You're going to love it. X, Instagram, and TikTok at Pigskin_Frenzy. The list will be posted after this episode drops. Number 1. We were finally due for one. Number 1, the College Football Playoff National Championship. The past 2 seasons, it wasn't the number 1 game. Now it is the number 1 game. Finally, the number 1 game of the 2020 Frenzy's top 50 games of the 2025 college football season, and on a Frenzy top 50 list, the number 1 game is the College Football Playoff National Championship between Indiana at Miami. Huge game. When I mean huge game, I'm talking about movie sequence type plays were happening in this game. Overall, the score was low to start the game, but Indiana on the field was kind of out-physicaling Miami. But Miami showed a lot of fight coming out of halftime. It was, about really just 10-0 lead in half for Indiana, but Miami really kind of stepped up, make it 10-7. They kind of, Mark Fletcher ran the ball really well, and you're thinking, oh, man, Miami has a shot at winning this game now. That touchdown, even though play-wise, Indiana's blowing them out, right? Kind of play-wise, but score-wise, the game's not really out of hand. That touchdown put Miami back in it, and it did. It put them back in it. But honestly, you're seeing plays, iconic plays, right? Malachi Tony scored. You're seeing Miami score, playing really good offense and scoring and fighting back, but Indiana would just always counter and answer with stuff. And what I mean by that is Kirk Cinetti went on it on late in the fourth quarter. It was real late and real gutsy, because if they wouldn't have gotten this, the whole game probably could have changed, and Miami could be the national champion instead of Indiana. 4th and 5. Charlie Becker, catch by Charlie Becker, just like they did in the Big Ten championship with Indiana and Ohio State. Fernando Mendoza caught, first down, and then all of a sudden, they're going down the field, another 4th and 5, and you're thinking, they're not going for a field goal. They're going to go for it. Kirk Cignetti is going for it, because Kirk Cignetti, like the dog that he is, like an amazing coach, an elite coach he is, he's going to take risk and play aggressive. He plays aggressive. They run a quarterback draw on 4th and 5 at the goal line, and you're thinking, oh, man, what's going to happen? What if he gets stopped? He was supposed to run to the left. He ends up running into the right and into the middle. Hakeem Mezitor, Ruben Bainer there. He breaks both tackles, and Mendoza slow-mos it and dives into the end zone to score for the Indiana Hoosiers. Fernando Mendoza, like a movie scene touchdown run, puts them up and makes it a 27-21 score there. And then all of a sudden, later in the game, in the closing minutes in the game, Miami drives down all the way to the 47, and then all of a sudden, Carson Beck throws it late, and it's picked off late. And Indiana caps off their undefeated season, closes it out, and beats Miami at home, at Miami's house, on the road. Final score, Indiana 27, Miami 21. Indiana becomes undefeated, 16-0, the first team since Yale in 140-plus years to win their first national championship in program history. Number one game of the season, because we were due for a dramatic movie scene type like national championship, and that's what we got with Indiana and Miami. The reason why it's number one is because of one, Indiana won their first national championship. The Indiana Hoosiers, no one thought that was going to happen. That's number one. Number two, they're 16-0, right? A huge undefeated season for them. And number three, the plays that were being made in this game, it could have gone either way. And we were due for a classic-type national championship game between the two teams. Very physical plays at the very end were being made, and it was a fun game to watch, and we were at the edge of our seats, spectating it and watching it. Indiana at Miami for the national championship is number one, and the number one game on our list of the 2025 college football season. Number one, college ball playoff national championship game between Indiana at Miami, where Indiana defeated Miami 27-21 to win their first national championship in school history. That is the number one game of Frenzy's top 50 games of the 2025 college football season. Guys, I really hope you love the list. I really do. I hope you love 50 through 1. I hope you loved all the lists. We're going to post this list on X, on Instagram, and on TikTok at Pigskin_Frenzy. We're about an hour now. It's going to be an hour out, and we are pumped, and we are so excited that you tuned in for the 300th episode of Pigskin Frenzy. We are out of time. Guys, a big thank you for tuning in each and every Tuesday and Thursday for really the past 300 episodes, guys. So just tune in and listen to some college ball coverage presented by me. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like each episode, leave comments down below. Spotify, Podbean, and Apple, all you got to do is just share around with others and follow on there as well. X and Instagram is at Pigskin_Frenzy, and TikTok is at Pigskin_Frenzy. You're going to get wild takes from the prodigy of college football, and you're getting wild takes from me and episode updates from Pigskin Frenzy. The website is www pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. Coming up on Thursday is episode 301. On Thursday, we have a very special friend of the show coming on for a third episode with us here. George Reister from the Unafraid Show will join us on Thursday. We're going to talk to him about his offseason, how his offseason's going. We're going to discuss some things and kind of like a segue, because next week is the kickstart of our spring football coverage. The first week of March, our kickstart of our spring football coverage, and we're going to kind of have a segue episode on Thursday as we gear up for spring football coverage here at Pigskin Frenzy. So, with our spring outlook, we're going to ask him about who's he excited to tune into in the spring and watch in the spring. Who's he concerned about heading into the spring? We're going to ask him about that and what moment shocked him the most in the 2025 season. All that and more when George Reister joins the show from the Unafraid Show on Thursday, joining us on Pigskin Frenzy on Thursday. Cannot wait for that one. Tune into that one on all platforms. Guys, before we wrap up, I just wanted to just speak from the heart just a minute and say, man, I keep on saying thank you each and every one of you for tuning in each and every week. Man, 300 episodes. This is what we wanted. 300 episodes. And not only that, we want more than 300. We're going to keep on climbing. We're not going to stop. Honestly, and this is just really my story here. I mean, if you guys are just first time listeners, guys who were riding with me for day one, a huge shout out to you guys and thank you for tuning in each and every week. And not only that, just the people who are tuning in now and who are new to the show, man, I'm just gonna sit here and say, honestly, I really was not supposed to be doing this. When I was born, I was born with a condition, sensory integration dysfunction, which is slightly on the spectrum. I don't know if you guys can tell that, but I'm not all the way on there, but I'm slightly on the spectrum. So as a guy who had trouble with, communicating, taking things literally. Like if someone would tell me, hey, it's raining cats and dogs, I would literally think it's raining cats and dogs outside. Where are the cats and dogs? I don't take things literally anymore. I have a little bit of sarcasm and joke with me. But when you look at me, you're thinking, oh, he's just taking everything literal again. But for me, I wasn't supposed to be doing this. I wasn't. I was told my parents were told, when I was 2 years old, that this was going to be it. I wasn't going to be able to talk. I wasn't going to be able to speak. I was told through my parents, you're not going to be able to talk, by doctors in North Carolina. That when I was living in North Carolina, because my dad was in the military at the time, so he would, we would all move around. But when he was stationed at North Carolina, that's where we lived. Was told by doctors, you're not going to be able to talk. You're going to be mute and grunt. Just grunt, not say anything. And I knew that with the Lord, number one, I was going to be able to say words. I was going to be able to talk and communicate well. That's number one, because it's a part of our story. Number two, with the Lord placing good family members like my mom, like my dad, supportive people like my brother and my sister talking to me and being with me and spending time with me and getting me to speak, it's made me what I am today. So without my family, I'm so thankful for my family and I'm so thankful for them. But most importantly, I'm so thankful for the Lord, because number one, it's not really their story to tell. The Lord's story for your life is there. He's got a plan for you. It's not about what the doctors or anybody says or anybody's trying to put limitations on you. It's about what the Lord is going to provide for you and what the Lord can do for you. My calling was to do this. I graduated in communication at Mississippi College, and my plan was, hey, this is it. This is what I wanted to do. I applied for a lot of jobs everywhere, didn't get a lot of looks, obviously. And then I was like, you know what? February 2023, I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to start Pigskin Frenzy, and I'm going to take it to the moon and work really hard at it and achieve my dreams and goals. I'm going to have guest reporters on, personalities on, to the likes you never believed of. I had Tim Brando on my show, and Tim Brando is a legend in this business, a guy that I idolized and grew up watching. Shout out to Tim Brando. I may tag you in this clip, but he's the man. And I couldn't not have done a lot without the Lord, because without him, I would not be achieving a lot of what I'm achieving already as we enter year 4 of this. I was, I'm praying, keep it on praying to keep on making an impact, not only in the college football media space, but for the Lord's game, because I wanted to keep on telling people about the Lord and what the Lord has done in my life. And I'm doing that. I'm doing that through college football. So I'm so thankful, and I'm so thankful you guys tune in each and every week. And I'm so thankful for you guys. Without you guys, I really wouldn't be here, and I really wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now, and I really wouldn't be talking and achieving my dream in college football media. And this is what I want to do. A lot of people may not listen to my show, and that's fine. But, and I hope you guys do. I want you guys to listen to each and every Tuesday and Thursday. And this is not me bragging on myself. This is not me being a cocky person. I'm not that. I am grateful and have gratitude towards everything that I do in my life. But I'm going to make this show worth watching. I'm going to make this show worth viewing and listening to across all platforms. My goal is to be at the top of my game and to make this show and me a premier voice in this media space. And a lot of people are going to say, dude, you're probably being cocky saying that, but I got to live up to being the prodigy of college football. Shout out to the Red Zone Blitz podcast, because they nicknamed me that. I was not the self-appointed. I was nicknamed that by people. So thank you guys for nicknaming me that. As the prodigy of this media space and of this sport, I want to leave a lasting impression, and I have the goal to be in this space and make this space fun and exciting and have a lot of guests on. And not only that, number one, most importantly, proclaim the Lord's name across all platforms. That's what I want to do. Proclaim the Lord's name across all platforms and become one of the premier voices in this space. I have a long way to go. I know that. But what I do know, that is, I can make it happen, because I have faith in myself, and I believe in myself, and I'm going to continue to bet on myself. And I think this show can be, despite me stuttering and mumbling and all that, can be one of the best shows that I can possibly make it in the college ball media space. Thank you to the Lord. Thank you guys for tuning in each and every week. Cannot wait for episode 400, 500, 1,000, and beyond with Pigskin Frenzy. We will see you Thursday. We're praying for you all. We love you all. I'm Joel Norris signing off. For everybody out there, please and always stay the course.